Peace everyone, Unmasked here, and welcome back to another show and tell, I guess you could call it. Not yesterday, but Tuesday, we went through pretty much all the sketchbooks that I have. Some of them go back as far as like 2012, 2013. So we've seen a few years of my work. I have these two packs of drawing, this Stonehenge vellum paper. I just kept them, and I just kept sliding artwork in, and so as you can see, they're stacked. Got a whole bunch of stuff in there, and then after I finish all of this, I have my stack of pastel paintings that I have to unpack just to show you. So I have those sitting there, and that's what we're going to get to after I get through all of this. So I hope everyone is having a fantastic Thursday. So glad you're able to make it. Hello, James, Arnie, Gihan, Michelle, Paige, Shiny. You guys are all awesome. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So you probably recognize this because this is the colored pencil project we just finished. And as you can see, this is what I do with it. I just shove it in this this pack of drawings, and then it sits in my drawer, and that's what happens to the projects that we do. So yeah, you guys should recognize that. This is actually pastel painting. I'm not going to bother taking it out because it's not good enough to it's not a good enough pastel painting to go through the trouble of taking it out. But yeah, so I have that sticking there. Many of you probably recognize this. This is the project that we did right before the Druid project. So yeah, just sitting in the drawer. And then this is the project that we did before that last project. So you can probably start to see a little bit of a pattern here. Yeah, this is the baby portrait project that we did. Now I don't know if I actually posted this one online or not, but this is pastel matte. This is colored pencil on pastel matte, and this is a project that we did beginning of the year, I think. But yeah, this one came out okay. Not my favorite project. This piece of pastel matte has a crease right here, and it kind of messes with the colors in the sky. But pretty cool to work on pastel matte with colored pencil. Hello, Tessa, Catrice, Viana, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correct, from Italy. Welcome, glad you're able to make it. This is one of my favorite colored pencil projects that we did last year. I'm not sure exactly what time last year, but I love doing ballet or yoga poses. I just love the shape the human body can be contorted into. But my favorite part of this is this leg right here. Yeah, I just love all of the muscles and the lighting and everything about this. So yeah, this was a project that I did last year. Here's some smaller ones. I had this hanging on my wall. If you dig pretty far back through Patreon, then you can find this tutorial. I did a series of hair tutorials where I did like all the different colors of hair and just different styles and all of that. And so this was a hair tutorial that I did a few years back. I'm not even sure when. This here, I don't know what happened to it. It looks like it got smudged or something. I'm not sure if I can clean it up. Looks like Pastel got on it or something. There we go. Not too bad. I don't really care. This here is trying colored pencils on, this is the Artistico hot press watercolor paper. A lot of people really like using colored pencils on this paper. I'm not a fan of watercolor paper. But as you can see, it came out pretty good. I don't draw many horses, and I think this might be the first one that I did in colored pencil, if I'm not mistaken. But I had a student a couple years back that they wanted to draw this horse, and so I kind of started it with them, and then I live streamed working on this or something along those lines. Now, a few of you might recognize this. There's absolutely nothing special about this drawing here. This is, I could be mistaken, but I'm almost certain this is from the colored pencil, the intro to colored pencil course, I want to say, or maybe I did a variant of it on Patreon. I can't remember. But this was a tutorial, I know for sure, about creating a gradient. Now that I think about it, I think it was actually on Patreon. It wasn't the colored pencil course. But it was just about creating a gradient, and then what's the word I'm looking for? Frequency separation. So the technique that I go through with adding texture on top of color to create a little bit of the waves there. Very, very basic. I did this quite quickly to just demonstrate a bit of the technique and explain it. So nothing amazing there. So there's a few here. So these two here, these were an experiment quite some time ago. They're not drawn very well. They're actually drawn quite awful. But I was doing an experiment with markers and creating hair. That's really what it was all about, and I wanted to do this kind of pop art color scheme a little bit. There was another artist that inspired me as far as the colors go, and what I was really trying to do was create cool looking hair using markers, and I can't stand this one, but I like the way the hair came out on this one. That one's okay. But yeah, this is just another one of the hair tutorials that I was showing you a second ago. So this was the blonde one. This was the brown one. I drew this way too small, but it still looks okay. Like it's a reasonable attempt at hair with colored pencils. Like I said, this was a few years back where I was still developing my colored pencil technique for hair. Got a few more people in. Hello Kay, Paige, and Mache. Good to see you. Oh, I'm glad you like the horse. Glad you like the horse. So this is another project that we did over on Patreon. I did this last year. And, oh goodness, who is it? Can't remember his name. He comments over on Patreon. So if you're watching, you've been asking to do for colored pencil tutorial. You've been asking for a sea dragon, right? A sea dragon. I'm not going to do a sea dragon because I think this. If you're able to do this is a lionfish, and the sea dragon is not extremely different than the lionfish in my opinion, as far as like the shapes and colors and all that. But I had a blast with this one. These are my favorite colors. I love the complementary colors of like a teal blue and an orange. Those complements are my favorite. So being able to do a subject where I can really just bring those two colors together is one of my favorites, and I like this project a lot. And this was one that we did probably like before sometime last year, I think. And this is just a pitcher, a silver pitcher or whatnot. And this is just practicing, getting some values and creating like a reflective surface. Will I go live again sometime? I'm live right now. Did I miss something? But yeah, so this was a project just about, doing something shiny, some reflective surface. Um, I remember talking a bit about, like, getting contrast and the just, yeah. I kept this one really simple. I didn't smooth things out. I didn't blend. This one's more of a sketch in the sense that I didn't go for like photorealism or hyperrealism in any way. You can still see all of the pencil strokes and all of that. So I enjoy doing subjects like this, and if you've never done a subject like this, I highly recommend it. And I would strongly recommend you do it on non-white paper. That way the highlights look really nice. So back to fish. What's this fish called? Beta fish. Yeah. This was a project that I did before the lionfish, and a lot of people like this one. This was a fun project, all of the colors and all of that. I did this one last year around July, August or something, I think. I can't remember exactly, but sometime last year. And the tutorials for all of these here, so this and this, and pretty much everything that I've showed you, these are tutorials that exist on Patreon. And I live streamed all of these, so all of the steps and tricks and tips and all of that is on Patreon. A few of you might remember this. Looks like I got something on it. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, well, I don't care. This was just an experiment trying to create that foil holographic kind of, I forget what they call it. Some people call it holographic skirt. I just really liked the colors and stuff, so I tried to do this with markers. I think it came out okay. I never finished it. I was gonna like try to get it more realistic by using colored pencils. I did use a little bit of colored pencils, as I can see, but I just kind of stopped working on it. I felt like it's good enough, and then I just moved on with my life. Oh, hello, Barbara, Chandri, Tessa. Yeah, so this is another tutorial over on Patreon. This is actually one of my patrons' dog. So she emailed me a picture of her dog and asked me if I'd do a tutorial of it because she had wanted to draw it. This dog is just adorable, and I really liked the way that it came out on the gray paper. Yeah, I really like. This is probably one of my favorite pet portraits that I've done. Usually I make a little bit of shortcuts. I take some shortcuts in my tutorials just to get through them a little bit quicker. On this one, I didn't really, and I remember actually working on this one during the polishing stage, and I spent an extra amount of time on the polishing stage on this one because the hairs here right between the eyes, they get wavy, and it's a little tricky there, and I wanted it to look really nice, but yeah, at the end of the day, this is one of my favorite pet portraits. This here is one of the few graphite portraits that I've done in recent years. This isn't anybody in particular, just a random individual I got a picture of offline. And this is also a tutorial over on Patreon. I talk about the importance of layering with graphite pencils and building up your values and all of that. I honestly, this is to date, since this is my most recent graphite portrait, this is probably my best graphite portrait that I've ever done. Yeah, I spent a considerable amount of time on this project, and I really like the way that it came out. Um, Everything down from like the hair to these darker shadows here, where he was like wearing a black hoodie, and you couldn't really see the zipper, you couldn't really see the zipper tag or anything like that. But there's just a subtle enough amount of detail in there that it, you know, when you look at it, you can see it. And yeah, I like this. I liked this project a lot. I mean, I don't do a lot of graphite work anymore, but yeah, this was a fun one. Yes, Barbara, you did just come in, just in time. Again, this is another graphite project that I did over on Patreon of a Falcon. I can't remember. I think somebody just requested a graphite project, a graphite tutorial, and then it led to the Falcon and that portrait there. Yeah, this was a fun project too. I don't draw a lot of birds, but every time I do, I enjoy it. And there's a few fun little tips. As you can see in both of these, one of the things that I do is I darken the background with graphite, and the way that I do that is I'll do it with a brush, or I'll do it with a piece of tissue, and I'll just wipe you know, a nice layer of graphite, and that makes it a little bit easier to bring out some of the highlights in the picture. And in this case, I freestyled a little bit after I added that kind of layer of graphite in the back. I used my kneaded eraser to create these little clouds here, and so I added some clouds into the back. And yeah, that's just a little trick that I showed off in this project. This was another tutorial, just doing skin tones in colored pencils, and you'll notice. Wait, no, it's somewhere here. It's we did this same project in Pastels, which you'll probably see when I dig out all my pastel paintings. But yeah, this was just a simple project that we did, practicing skin tones, because it's always good to practice skin tones. This was also a tutorial that I never finished. I'm trying to remember. I think that this tutorial mainly focused on using solvent. So once I got through this part of the tutorial on Patreon, I was like, you know what, we're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again all the way through here. And I was like, we don't have to do it any further. And so this was just a tutorial that focused on using solvent for blending, because all the blending here is I did with solvent. This is also a tutorial on Patreon. This is a mixed media piece. So I drew like 90% of this project with just markers, and then after the markers, I then incorporated colored pencils. Yeah, this was a pretty fun project. I've done a couple multimedia pieces, tutorials that incorporate markers and colored pencils, and this is on the Strathmore Bristol smooth paper. But yeah, tree frogs are always a fun subject because they have such bright colors. And this is another colored pencil tutorial that I did. And most of you should recognize this because I used the same reference for the pastel pencil review that I did last year. I drew this 6 times because I drew it 4 times for the pastel pencil review, and then I did the same project in Pastels as a pastel tutorial on Patreon, and then I did the same project in colored pencils. This is the colored pencil one, and I used the Artistico hot press watercolor paper for this as well, which I think I was just digging through my paper, and I was like, I have this this extra sheet of watercolor paper, I might as well just use that. And yeah, it came out pretty good. I really like that still life. I think this was a project that I did offline. So this is just something that I sketched up, and I was trying something a little different. As you can see, it's a lot more sketchy. There's just a bunch of cross hatching with the black and white, and I want to say polychromos pencil. I'm almost certain I used polychromos pencil for this. And I was just going for a particular style. And in this case, I went with the teal and orange because I really like those complements. And I don't know, it's not my favorite. I used Sharpie marker for the outline. It's okay. I'm not really a fan of the way that it came out. Maybe a decent idea, but not as well executed as I hope. I think what I don't like the most is actually the colors being in colored pencil. I think what would look better is if the teal and the orange were paint. I think that's what would look better on this, but you know, you gotta do experiments every now and again just to discover something. And I took that same kind of thing that I did on that project. This is a tutorial that I did on Patreon as well, and this is doing like more of a stylized portrait that I did with this project. So I experimented with this to create this tutorial that I did on Patreon, and essentially it was just about, you know, creating something a little bit more sketchy, but still something that you could, you know, enjoy doing. And the thing that I did differently, that I didn't like in that first experiment, was the way the color looked. So on this one, I just tinted the shirt shadows with some red, and then I did this lighter blue like background kind of thing that I blended out. And I'm trying to remember, I want to say that I blended it out with a pencil, with a paper blender. I'm almost certain I did it. I don't know when I did it. I think I did it in 2018 actually. So I can't quite remember, but I think I did it with the paper blender to make it smoother and softer, as opposed to having these like harsh lines here, because it's these harsh lines that I don't like. Maybe if they were horizontal, they would be okay, but the vertical lines were really, really poorly executed in that project. But I liked this one, and I think I used graphite actually. I can't remember. Maybe I did, but then I switched to some colored pencils, some white and some black and some red and blue. But and then for this, I think I used paint. I want to say that I used acrylic paint, but I might have used acrylic gouache. Don't quote me on that, I'm not sure. And of course, if you guys have any questions for me, I am more than happy to take on some questions. So do not hesitate to ask me questions. This is actually not my art. So this is an original from Jeff Lafferty. I talked a little bit about Jeff on Tuesday. Like I said, he's an amazing artist. I love his work. And a number of years back, actually, he did a Kickstarter I think I have it here. One second. Yeah, so he did a Kickstarter a number of years back on to do a book, and he made this book of all his like movie art because he does a lot of movie art, and his work has such amazing texture, such wonderful line work, and so I backed his Kickstarter for this book here. I forget what I had to back it for, but I would get a copy of the book along with one of the originals of his work. So a killer deal, absolute killer deal, and I love this. I love this work. This is, of course, from the movie 300. Just the lighting and the line work, just everything about it is just fantastic. Just fantastic. I love it. And so here's the book that I got from Jeff. And of course he did an original sketch of Swamp Thing in the cover. And so I'll show you a little bit of his work. He's just great. I think, yeah, so here's my name here. So he gave me a little bit of credit along with everybody that helped back and make this book a thing. And you can just see how fantastic his work is. And he's also on YouTube. Here's a letter that he wrote me. Yeah, but he's on YouTube. You can find him, Jeff Lafferty. He mostly works on his comic book. What's the name of his comic book that he's been working on? Oh man, the name escapes me for some reason. You can figure it out, but yeah, just awesome work. Like, look at this. Look at that color. Look at the lighting. Just everything about it is just awesome. I love Jeff's work. Yeah. Some Walking Dead characters here for those of you that like Walking Dead. Michonne looks totally sweet. Planet of the Apes. I mean, you got all kinds of classic movies here. Just, yeah. That's how you spell his name if you want to look him up on YouTube. Now, you guys probably recognize this portrait, yeah? I showed you this. I showed you the same portrait on Tuesday. So before I did the tutorial, I practiced a little bit, and I live streamed working on this a couple times. I did this one here using luminance pencils, and I did this one here with Prismacolor, and then I realized I need to do this portrait using Prismacolor, because that's what my courses are. My courses need to be using is Prismacolor, not luminance. And so I just did some practices and drew this a bunch of times. Yeah, so that's what those are. I've seen many of you draw this portrait as well. So here's a fun little experiment. This is watercolor. This is on the Artistica watercolor paper. Yeah, Jeff's work is amazing. Indeed it is. Will I join Chrissy's video chat on Saturday? Well, I didn't know anything about it. I wasn't invited. It would be kind of cool. I wouldn't mind joining. I'll message Chrissy later and see if she wants me to join in. Yeah, so this was an experiment with watercolors and a little bit of gouache for the white highlights, but yeah, fun project. All right, so here's some junk. This is from the the Intro to Colored Pencil course. I think all these projects are, so this is like part 2 or something like that, where we work with burnishing and gradients and things like that. This is part 4 of the Intro to Colored Pencil courses, where I teach you frequency separation. Essentially, we create like this blob, and then we add the texture on top to make it look like a potato. This is the final part 5 of the Intro to Colored Pencil course. This is where we take all of the skills that I teach you throughout the course and throw it all together into one single project, and we just do this goofy looking little hedgehog. This is part 1, where I teach you gradients and blending and all of that. I'm not sure why I colored this peach. I want to say that a student a couple years ago requested it, or we drew it together or something, but I have a hard time remembering exactly what the point was. But this is just a good example of the use of frequency separation. And if you don't know what frequency separation is, essentially it's just ignoring all the texture, just focusing on the color and then adding the texture on top. Did you lose the will to live after having to do the same portrait 4 times? I drew the same portrait 6 times actually, and no, actually it was kind of fun. I like each time I got better and better at doing it, which really helped me out when I made the course, because by the time I did the course I was basically an expert on that one particular portrait, just which allowed me to do it so much quicker and just very, very efficiently, which allowed me to explain it much more effectively. So yeah. Yeah, so there's a peach. This project here, now this was something that a student was working on, and this is on watercolor paper, garbage watercolor paper, and this is using watercolor pencils actually, and I don't like the way it looks at all, but I was helping a student just pick the colors and kind of a strategy for approaching the texture of the avocado skin. But yeah, I just did this with watercolor pencils, and I don't like the way it looks at all. Let's see, these are scrap pieces of paper. Yeah, I don't even know why they're in here. I'm gonna save these. You never have too many scrap pieces of paper. Let's see here. So this here, I'm not sure, it's all foggy or whatnot. This was, I'm trying to remember what I did this for. I'm not sure exactly what I did this for. At first I was thinking I did it for a video, but I can't remember actually using it. This is layering, this is burnishing, and this is blending with solvent. And that's it for the first pack. So that's the first sketchbook full of junk. Yeah, there we go. So I'll just set that aside. And here is the second pack of stuff. Now, you guys should recognize this. So this here was a challenge I gave myself. This is a realism challenge, photo realism challenge that I gave myself last year. And I spent around 100 hours on this. It's not very big, but I wanted to see how close to photorealism that I could get. So it was just a test challenge to myself, and this is where I used polychromos. So I used polychromos 99.8% on this drawing. The only spots where I incorporated a Prismacolor was just on one color, and it's the Prismacolor 1036 color, and it's for this like neon orange that I add to the paint because it just made it just pop so much more. And I want to do another photorealism piece this year, but on a slightly larger scale. But I haven't yet decided what the picture is going to be and whether or not I'm actually going to do it. But yeah, that's what this project is. This one here, as you can see, is just a figure drawing that I did sometime last year. I don't remember when. And then this is purple here. This is watercolor pencils. So this is like the one few time that I've used the watercolor pencil was in some of my normal work. But this is on that Strathmore tone to gray paper. I'm not totally satisfied with the contrast. I think I should have went a little bit more with the contrast with this. And I kind of feel like I messed up her face a little bit, but yeah, practice makes perfect, I guess. Maybe one day I'll be as good as I hope I am. Do I have any tips on storing art so that it doesn't smudge? Well, I suppose you could just not stack it the way that I do. Like, as you can see, I don't really care about my work. It's just sitting here, it's getting smudged and slowly being destroyed. Yeah, for that paper I used the Stonehenge vellum paper. Yeah, for the photorealism challenge one that I did. Yeah, this is Stonehenge vellum. This here is Bristol plate paper. This is a Patreon tutorial as well, and I want to say that I used polychromos pencils on this project also. Not a fan of it. Realistically, I needed to spend probably another 3 more hours on this project. I got really lazy in the grass. The grass needs so much more value up here. It needs more texture, but this project was taking more time than I wanted it to take, and I wanted to move on. That's just the truth. But I think the mountains look pretty good, and like the mist. That's sometimes that's hard to do with colored pencils, but it came out okay. It's tolerable. This is one of my first few colored pencil portraits. Gosh, it's so. I have improved. I've improved so much, because I did spend quite a lot of time on this project. And I recorded it, and then I did a narrated tutorial of it on YouTube. But my goodness, like, I could do so much better now. It's so mediocre. Like, her lips just look so bad. Her nose just looks so bad. Honestly, maybe her hair is the best thing because it was the easiest part of this project. Um, Her eyes are okay, but they don't quite shine as well as I could probably get nowadays. Her eyelashes are so bad. Her eyelashes are just hideous. Her eyelashes look like a cartoon. Yeah, I could do, I could do so much better nowadays. This is like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It feels like I don't even know when I did this. I think I'm almost certain that I did this when I was in Seattle, though. So yeah. This is a another Patreon tutorial. I don't know why I drew this one so big. This is definitely one of my larger drawn Patreon tutorials. So excessively big for such a simple project. I can't remember what exactly the main focus of this project was. Essentially, it was just doing a dolphin. And relatively straightforward project. I remember we did the background. We did the water first, and then we did the dolphin. But this project took a long time to color in, just because of how much of the paper I filled up. Pretty unnecessarily, though. It looks like it got some smudge on it or something, but yeah, older project. So this project here, I did a landscape tutorial a long time ago. I don't know why it's like turning yellow. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's like yellowish stuff on the paper. I'm not sure what that is, but on this project I utilized the brush and pencil touch-up texture. Yeah, I have a tutorial of this. Yeah, you can find the tutorial on YouTube. This is probably one of the best colored pencil landscapes that I've ever done, even though there's still plenty of room for improvement. Some of my grass I can see is a little bit lazy. It's very one-directional grass, which I think makes it look kind of fakeish. It's all very vertical, so I should have put more variation in the direction of the grass, just subtly, or at least not made it so vertically. Even if it was just kind of curled over to one direction, it would just kind of give it the sensation that wind is blowing it. But this is a tutorial that I show you how to do the spoon technique. And I love the tree. The tree's about the only thing that I can still look at with some pride. Although I definitely should have went in and added some more definition to the branches. That's something that I definitely should have done. Because right now the leaves just kind of look like they're floating there. There's no definition to the branches. The skeletal structure of the tree is a bit missing, but it's still cool looking. Yeah, I checked. There's nothing. Yeah, I thought it was tape too on the paper. It's not tape. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Oh yeah, you did the dolphin one, didn't you, Brenda? Okie dokie. So this one, so if you remember from Tuesday, I showed you the early drawing journal sketchbook. And I showed you that anime character where I said it's like a futuristic version of the traditional anime Japanese schoolgirl kind of look. So that project stemmed from a how to draw anime basic tutorial, and I take you through how to do the faces, the heads, the eyes, the mouth, the nose, and then the body based on different proportions. And then I did clothing, and so I give you different types of clothing. So this is like a loose fitted sweater. This is kind of a more fitted t-shirt type thing. This is just a drapey skirt that has form. These are like somewhat fitted jeans. These are more of the like classic dress slacks or pants. This is just you know, like one of those coats. I don't know what the coats are called. This is more of a loose drapey type of shirt. This is more of a skirt that is, you know, drapey and wavy or whatever. And so I just kind of explain the different folds that happen dependent on the type of clothing. And I explain that in the tutorial. I did that tutorial so long ago. This here, wait, do these colors match? Yeah, I think so. So this project here comes from these colors. So these colors were my color chart for this project a little bit. So you can see this color here being used in the hair, this color here being used in the top. And you guys chose these colors actually, because after I drew this, and this is just a random made up character that I designed, and I had inked it. I might even live stream the inking of this. I can't say for sure, but you guys chose the colors. I think I started with the hair, maybe, or I filled in the skin and I was like, okay, what color do you guys want me to draw the hair? You guys chose like this deep red color, and so that's what I like laid down or whatnot. And so I colored the hair, and then I said, okay, what color will the top be? You guys said purple with teal fringe. And then essentially I just filled in the rest with your guys' suggestions. And I'll tell you a little secret. My wife hates that I did that because she hates the colors. And she tells me when she comes across this, she always tells me that I should have just picked the colors that I think would have looked the best. Another random project. I think I live streamed this one too. I don't know. I can't remember. This is actually, I used markers and colored pencils here. This is one of the very few attempts that I drew someone with a bit of an agenda. So I drew this person hoping that I could draw some more audience into my channel, because he's a really popular YouTuber, so I drew him, shared it on Twitter, I think, and he liked it. And he had a few of his subscribers had come over to my channel to watch the video, but it didn't convert anybody, so it was kind of a waste of time. Oh, these are some small experiments with watercolors. This is just a couple experimentations with watercolors. I really like watercolor. I kind of want to get better at them. I especially like this style. This style with watercolors. I'm a big fan of it. I think it just looks perfect. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Yeah, so this goes back to this how to draw anime tutorial. This is a layout of how to use different proportions. So you have like a young person here, forehead high, and then what you do is so you start with the head, right? And you use where these lines cross, or basically, so here's the head sizes. You use the head sizes to determine proportionally where things fall. So like on this forehead high, you have the knees falling right here. You have like the top of the hips falling there. The shoulders fall just below. So you use those as measurement. And then over here you have chibi. But yeah, so that's how things look with different proportions. So you can see how like a character would age and their proportions would change throughout. So that's a very useful tool. This is just garbage. This is just Scratch from a class with a student. They wanted to draw eyes. I drew eyes with them, showed them the process. So kind of quick and messy looking eyes. And then I forget what this is. I was doing something with a student that involved fur, and I was explaining the importance, the rules, always follow the direction that the hair is going. And so I was explaining how to map out those curves of the hair, and what I was showcasing was make sure that you keep those lines, those flows continuous, because if you break up the flow, if you break up the lines and you try to connect them later on, sometimes you get these jagged points and they don't look flowy. And so I was explaining that. So that's all that is. This is another class. I was explaining some techniques on how to create foliage with graphite. So nothing special there. This is just an experimentation. This is Sandpaper. This is what, the UART 800? Yeah, UART 800. And this was just showing, I think this was a live stream, showing how colored pencils works on sandpaper. Nothing fancy, nothing special. And this was a Patreon project, doing a wave. Again, this is Sandpaper here. We did a wave with, not sure which pencils. I want to say Prismacolor, but I could be misremembering. And then of course blending with solvent. By the way, it's very, very similar. This is also on UART 800 paper. The look, the feel, the approach, everything is very, very similar, as if you were to work on the Clairefontaine Pastel mat. Forgot the name of it. Oh goodness, I should have got some water. I'm not even halfway through this. I'm not even halfway through this. It's ridiculous. Oh, hey there, Lisa. And Sneaks. This was a project. This was actually supposed to be a collaboration. So I had another YouTuber, Nick. His channel's Import Autumn, but he doesn't make videos anymore. I think he went off to college or something and forgot about YouTube. But we had this collaboration idea where both of us create line art, send it to one another, and then color it. So I did the ink work for this grasshopper, and the plan was to send it to him. He was going to send me artwork. Not sure whatever happened about it, but then later on, like a year after or whatever, I think I live streamed coloring this or something along those lines. So that's what this is the result of. This is another student class where I was just teaching them how to draw a flower. it's a really ugly flower. Scrap paper, so let me just get rid of this. That's scrap paper. A few of you might remember this. So this is from a live stream that I did with my wife a couple years back, and she's been bugging me for like 6 years to do a tutorial on shading. So I instead did a live stream with her showing her how to shade. Because I actually get a lot of comments and questions and stuff about shading, and honestly, I don't know how to teach shading. I never did it. I never did it because I don't know how to teach shading. If something is black, make it black. If it's gray, just make it the right shade of gray. There's no deep secret to it. That's the funny thing. And so I refuse to make a tutorial on shading because you just, like, if it's black, make it black. If it's white, keep it white. If it's gray, just match the color of gray. I don't know what else to say, but yeah, that's that. This here, I would have never in my life expected this to be my most famous. This is my most famous piece of artwork. This artwork has been shared, liked, and viewed more than anything I've ever created in my life. I think it's at 1.5 million views or something right now. I don't even look anymore. But this is the seven ways to blend colored pencils. This is layering. This is burnishing. This is colorless blender. This is solvent. This is saturation burnishing. This is gosh, I can't remember. Maybe it is saturation burnishing. I don't know. I made these two up just to have 7. And then this is using powder blender. So yeah, my most famous piece of artwork. Bunch of stupid squares. This here was my secret first attempt at using sandpaper and the powder blender and textured fixative stuff. And it never... the big mistake that I made was that I did this with luminance pencils, not polychromos. So it looks like complete garbage, which is why I never shared it. This is a tutorial. I hate to say that. I hate to admit that this is a tutorial anywhere, because I should just burn this trash. But I did this as a tutorial on Patreon a long time ago. The worst looking bear ever. It just looks so bad. So bad. This is like 2 or 3 years old, I think. It's just awful. I don't know what else to tell you. It's just terrible. The bear's fur was kind of wet, which makes it exceptionally more difficult to draw. And I ran out of patience with this project, and then I just called it done, and then I never shared it because it's so horrible. So the squares, yeah, the famous 7 squares is how you found my channel. Yeah, I would say probably more than half of my subscribers come from those squares, and then of those greater half, maybe 0.01% of the people that subscribe from that actually come to my live streams. This was a 10-minute challenge. So this is a 10-minute challenge that I did with markers. Nothing special. It looks awful. It looks like I did it in 10 minutes because I did it in 10 minutes. Oh man, so much stuff. I seriously, I need a nap right now. This is so exhausting. This is so tiring. I really do need a nap. Oh gosh. I'm just getting so sleepy right now. So if you guys aren't aware of this series, a few years back when I was trying to do anything I could to grow my YouTube channel, I started this collaboration that I called Coffee with Friends. And what the idea of the project was, I would collaborate with another YouTube artist, and I had this layout. That has these exact measurements. The exact measurements is this square, this table, and then this frame. And the frame could be a window, the frame could be, in this case, it's a painting, and then the table, as long as you match up the measurements, you can make the table whatever you want it to be. And the thing is, I draw this side, they draw the other side using the same measurements, and then of course you're able to put the pictures together. And so the idea, Coffee with Friends, is that you draw, a character having their coffee or tea or whatnot, and then the other person draws the same concept, and when you put them together, it's like two people having coffee together, but they're in their own unique, original setting. This is probably one of my favorites from Coffee with Friends. I really like the way this one came out. Yeah, so that's one collaborative one. This is another one. And this one I like a lot too, because the lighting I was able to achieve on the body armor, I was pretty happy with. So I went like medieval on this project and did a window with like a fire in the back, and that's why I like the orange showing up. Yeah, this was a fun one too. This was another Coffee with Friends. The artist that I was collaborating with, what is his channel name? Kit. I think it's Kit Art or something along those lines. But he does a lot of gaming art, and one of his older videos during the time that I was aware of was he would do mosaic art using M&Ms. And so I took the video game theme and the mosaic theme, and I created a Super Mario Brothers Coffee with Friends. And this one was very tedious to do, because I don't know what you can see, but I did the Mario bricks here, and I drew them, all of them, and it's just very tedious. I even did the vine that goes up on one of the... he took it a completely different direction than I expected. He did like a giraffe. It was very cool. His was very, very cool. And then, yeah. So that's just another Coffee with Friends. Oh, hey, Cece, what's up? This is a live stream that I did with my wife. So my wife, using colored pencils for the first time, she drew the same exact bell pepper, and she did a really good job. This is my bell pepper. My wife, she keeps her bell pepper somewhere else. But we did a live stream with this, and then we also did this. This is hers, actually. I don't know where mine's at. This is my wife's pear. This is not my pear. I can tell because her pear was much more triangle, I think. Actually, I don't know. I'm wondering if this is my pair or hers. Because this side looking so flat, I feel like I wouldn't have done that. I don't know. This could be my. Oh, I wouldn't have went vertical here. I don't think. No, maybe I would have. I'm pretty sure this is not mine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is my wife's pair. This is a little bunny rabbit that I did with polychromos. I didn't do this as a tutorial or a live stream or anything, but just a little bunny. Nothing crazy. This is just a random portrait, semi-portrait with graphite that I did on live stream. I think I just drew this from my imagination, actually. I think I just drew this from my imagination. This is watercolor pencils and why I hate them, because they look terrible. I did this off stream. I had some people like talking about watercolor pencils like they always do, and I have them and I never liked them, and so I tried them out again. I wanted to see like maybe if I tried different paper, if I was just better. I don't know. I don't like them. I still don't like them. I think they look terrible. Oh, man. I seriously feel like I'm just going to lay down and go to sleep. Why does my coloring look so realistic? Practice. Practice and good color choice. Did I go to school to learn how to draw and color? No, I did not. I just pretended that I knew what I was talking about, and I created a Patreon channel and told people I'd teach them how to do it. And in the meantime, I was learning the whole time. It took me about 2 years, and then I was good enough, and people started to believe in me that I knew what I was doing, and then now here I am. I do it full time. So it's the epitome of faking it till you make it, because that's exactly what I did. This is the tutorial, the how to draw anime tutorial. This is the heads, here's the eyes, the facial expressions, the mouths, and essentially if you can just do these, you pick whatever eyes you want. I broke down how to do the eyes using rectangles. Rectangles make it easier. This is just the to show you how important the facial expression is with just eyebrows. And then of course a bunch of different mouths that you could use. And then I just broke down a little bit of what you can do with hair. Just different techniques with hair. What is this color chart for? I don't know what this color chart's for, I forget. It could be for this. I'm not sure. I'm gonna toss it. I don't need it. This is obviously another coffee with friends. And the funny thing with this one, so the artist that I collaborated with was Sophie Rosa. I think she's a Dutch artist, if I'm not mistaken. I'm almost certain she's Dutch. But when I did the collaborations, the Coffee with Friends collaboration, we never told each other what we were drawing. That was the thing. You never know what the other person is doing, and that's what was so fun about it, because it wasn't until after you matched them up. And the funny thing with this one is this was like the third or fourth collaboration, Coffee with Friends collaboration that I did. And in this one, I decided to draw her. So I decided to draw her. And the funny thing is that she decided to draw me. So it was completely by accident that we ended up drawing each other, which was kind of funny. But yeah, so another coffee with friends. This is a collaborative piece as well. So this is obviously a ladybug, and this collaboration was with Nick from Import Autumn. He's an Australian artist that I mentioned earlier, and this collaboration I think is what gave me a little bit of the idea for Coffee with Friends, because we each drew, like, I think the original reference photo was just the whole ladybug. And so I drew this half of the ladybug, he drew the other half in his own style, and then we just matched them up. So if you, this project here, this project goes back to that 15-minute marker challenge project thingy that I had shown you what feels like 4 hours ago. And I wanted to do a full-scale one. So this is me doing a full-scale one of that project. The idea that I had come up with in my head. So just kind of like this sunset thing with this arbitrary couple being all romantic in the sunset. And I didn't use, aside from the couple, I didn't use a reference photo, so I just created this landscape out of my imagination, which probably explains why it's so bad. Oh, the infamous Nanner. I still laugh every time I see this one. So this, if you go back far enough in my channel, you'll come across the weekly drawing. And it was never weekly, that's the funny thing. But I used to do time-lapse drawings, and that's pretty much all I focused on in the beginning when I started my YouTube channel. And this was like the last drawing or something. So I have like 52 drawings of just a bunch of random stuff, and this is like number 52. And it makes me laugh to this day because it's one of my favorite drawings that I've ever done. Okay, so on Tuesday, when I was going through one of my sketchbooks, I showed you some of my concept sketches for the Draw with Jazza Pokemon Mashup Challenge. And this was my finished piece that I had shared for that challenge. It amounted to nothing, it was just a big waste of time. But I enjoyed working on it. And it's Arcanine and Pidgeotto mushed up into one Pokemon. Let's see, which age did I start drawing? So I started drawing at the age of 6. I've pretty much done it non-stop throughout my entire life. So that's why I say I've been drawing for like 25, yeah, like 25 years I've been drawing. And coloring I have been doing since 2014. So I've been coloring for 6 years, been painting for 15. No, I've been painting for 16 years. So I've been painting for 16 years, coloring for 6, and drawing for 25. This was a collaboration that I did with another YouTube artist where she takes one of my drawings and redraws it in her own style. I took one of her drawings and redrew it, and I just redrew it. I don't know if it's my style, but I just redrew it. This is one of my favorites. I think if I were to change anything about this, I'd probably change the hair color. I don't really like the hair on this one. This is the Pokemon phase. So, I don't know, a few years ago, maybe like 4 years ago, my wife and I, we just got really into drawing and coloring Pokemon. And I just went a little crazy with this one. Yeah. This one is one of my favorites for sure. This one, I just went absolutely crazy with it. I think it's Dragonair or Dragonite or something along those lines. This one's obviously Mew. This one was a lot of fun to do. I always like doing space scenes. This one, this one is mine. I was going to say, is this one mine or is this one my wife's? Nothing special here. Just Snorlax chilling up against a tree. This is a much angrier Butterfly or Butterfree. And I just wanted to give Butterfree an RPG for some reason. No idea why. With a bomb going off in the back. Or an explosion or something. I have no explanation. But it was fun to do. This here is from a review video. Do I use any other mediums other than the ones stated in your About Me? Yeah, I use pretty much all the mediums. I've used watercolors here and there, as you've seen. I had a couple watercolor paintings. But my absolute favorite is oil painting, and then I'd probably put pastels and colored pencils. I don't know, pastels, colored pencils, I don't know if I can choose between those two. But, oh my gosh, I'm going to pass out. I'm so sleepy. Yeah, those are tied for second, I guess. I don't like acrylic paint. I'm not a fan of acrylic paint. I think it looks like trash. Yeah, this here was just showing off the textured fixative spray by brush and pencil. This is the one without it. This is the one with it. This is probably one of my most disappointing projects that I ever did. Because I thought this drawing was going to be more popular. I have this thing where I don't like to draw famous people, and I don't like to piggyback on pop culture for attention. I just don't like it. And this was one of the few exceptions, because obviously it's Baby Groot. I did this one in colored pencil a couple years back or whatever. You can find the video, because nobody watched the video. I put a lot of effort into this project, but I put even more effort into the video. And I thought the video was one of my best. I thought the video was one of my best, but it didn't gain the traction that I hoped that it would. So there's that project. Is either one of my parents an artist, or my siblings? So my dad is an artist. My grandmother was an artist, and my sister Cece is also an artist. I'd say my nephew Christian, he's an artist as well. Go take a rest. You can have part 3. Man, I haven't even gotten to my pastel work yet. Now I'm gonna power through. I'm gonna power through. Don't you worry. What experience you start drawing and coloring painting? Let me try to understand that question. So, I started drawing, like I said, I started drawing when I was 6, partially because I don't know, there was just something about it. It was just something I was able to do better than everybody else my age. That was the thing. Like when I was younger and I would draw, I was always significantly better than everybody my own age at drawing and art stuff in general, just creating stuff. I remember one year I was in the 3rd grade and I made a robot. So hold on, I got pause on the robot stuff. I wasn't an engineer. Calm down. So when I was in elementary school, for Valentine's Day, the tradition at the elementary school I went to was that you would make a Valentine box, and you'd have to bring Valentines in for everybody in the class, and then we would just eat candy. Everybody would walk around and drop their Valentine cards into the Valentine box of people, and we'd eat candy. You know what kids do. And so the thing with the Valentine boxes is that you make your own Valentine box. You decorate it. You spend all this time making it, and the common thing, the common thing was to just wrap a shoebox, literally wrap a shoebox in like wrapping paper or something, cut like a little slit so people could drop their cards in, and then you would have the lid to just take off to get to the cards, right? That was it. And so that was the majority of what people's Valentine's box was. Totally, completely, utterly lame idea. Just so lazy, completely unoriginal. Well, for my Valentine's box, I made a robot. And not only was it like a constructed robot that had moving arms, but you would put the Valentine card into the chest of the robot. I had like the slit here, and instead of just dropping down for no reason, I put a slide. So when it would go in, it would slide down. It wouldn't just fall to the bottom. It would slide down and then come to the bottom. And then on the bottom, it was closed box. Instead of having like a lid or anything that pop off, I had like a little hinged door that I would just do like this, and then I'd reach in and grab the cards. And I used aluminum foil to make it look metal. So, yeah. Anyways, way off topic. This is another colored pencil portrait that I think I did a tutorial on Patreon, and I apologize for that because this portrait is just hideous. This is also hideous. I'll let you look at it for a second, but this is just so bad. It's so ugly. Oh my gosh. I got nothing to say about it. It's just ugly. Stop looking at it. All right. Now I am done. I am finally done. Now it's on to I don't even know how many pastel paintings. All right. So this is how I store my pastel paintings because I love them so much. I love them dearly, so I treat them with the utmost respect. And if you can't tell, I'm being completely sarcastic. So here's the first layer of trash. This is, I don't know what this is. This is just a random pastel painting. I think I shared this online. And I can't say for sure. No, I didn't. I was thinking that these are the colors. These are the colors from the Peaceful Pastel series, but they're not. These are different colors and just random pastel landscape. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. I'll just throw them on the floor. I don't care anyway. This is pastel portrait project that we did over on Patreon. I should have spent more time on it, but it came out okay. But I definitely should have spent more time on it. I'm going to do another pastel portrait. That's going to be the next project, actually. So next Tuesday, I'm going to start a new pastel project, and it's going to be another portrait because I'm not satisfied with this one. Let's do a part 3 pastels next time. Nah, I'll get through it. I'll survive. I'll be okay. I just throw them all on the floor and then pick them up later. This is one of my favorites. This is a mermaid project that I did over on Patreon as well. So this is a tutorial on Patreon. Funny thing about this project. So after I did this project on Patreon, I got an email from Patreon saying that they had restricted my Patreon because of this project. They wanted to make it that you had to be 18 years or older or whatever because of boobs. And so I emailed them quite upset, and I said I don't want you restricting my Patreon because that's going to make it harder for people to find me, you know? And I was like, I teach people colored pencils and pastels. Like, there in no way should my channel or my Patreon page be restricted to 18 years or older. Fortunately, they flip-flopped and they decided not to. But sometimes I get irritated with people when they're all sensitive about the minuscule amount of nudity in artwork. It's just so immature. It really is. Anyways, enough of that. Here's another pastel painting that I spit all over because that's what I do on my pastel paintings. I just spit all over them. I think I did this one offline, so I don't even know why there's spit on it, to be honest with you. But there's just saliva everywhere. Because I talk too much. Yeah. This is just a fun little project that I wanted to do. I think I had this black piece of pastel mat, and I was like, I have nothing to do on this black piece of pastel mat. So I just did this randomness. Seems like there is more light on me than the art. No, there's definitely more light. There's no light on me. There's only light on the art. I'm just throwing them all over the floor. So here's Pastel Lion project that I can't stand. This one, my music stopped. I don't know. I think this project I just kind of lost my patience with. But there's a tutorial of this one on Patreon as well. And I apologize for all the tutorials that I make where I lose my patience and I turn out mediocre artwork. But hopefully I get the idea across, the techniques across. I articulate them well enough that you can produce better work than I do. Now this one here, this one was kind of fun. I don't know why there's tape on this. Why do I have tape here? I see your comments, CC. Make the octopus lady in pastels, all from the sketchbook. That one would actually be kind of cool to do. This was a tutorial on Patreon, creating the sensation of candlelight. This is one that I don't know. I couldn't figure this one out. This one, I'm not sure what I did wrong on this one, but I don't like it. What's this one? Oh, another Patreon tutorial. The Raven. This one's okay. I don't like the colors though. I'm not a fan of the colors, but the Raven came out okay. I'm glad you like them. I'm running out of floor space. Another candle one. I don't know how my wife's hair got here. This is another Patreon tutorial. Just candles. Just candles. Maybe I'll set that one there since I'm running out of floor space. This is very hard to go through. I think I did this one as a live stream, or no, I just did this one as a time lapse. This is just super basic, just a nighttime spacey scene. This one, I think I did this one as a live stream. I like the colors. A subscriber, I don't know if it's a subscriber or a Patreon or both, but they sent me this picture and they asked me to do it, and so I did. Let's see here. Oh goodness. This is one of my biggest disappointments. So this is not done on pastel mat. This is done on the Canson Mi Tenta touch paper. And I realized why it's garbage. Because it has no tooth to the paper, and you're really limited to the amount of layers that you can get. I'm satisfied with the way the background came out, but as far as using pastel pencils on that Mi Tenta touch paper, just doesn't work. Everything's just really bad as far as the wood elf herself goes, and just only the background is halfway decent here. Oh man. Okay, so I have 3 more layers, and we're like not even halfway through the first layer. I really, really hope you guys appreciate this, because these are going to be such a pain to put back away. This was a little bit of an experiment on following a Bob Ross tutorial, but with soft pastels. So you guys probably remember this one. Would I recommend Pastel Matte for colored pencils? Yeah, I would recommend Pastel Matte for colored pencils. It's a fun paper to work on. Different techniques, different feel, but it's certainly something that you can create some really great stuff on and enjoy the results. Okay, what's next? This was a Patreon tutorial. This one took a long time. This was from a patron's own reference photo. I forget where this is. I forget where he was or where she was when they took the picture, but it had this cool rock mound and these really cool clouds. The clouds are the hardest things to do. Like those kind of clouds. Probably needed to spend like another 4 or 5 hours on the clouds to make them look more cloud-like. But I still like the way this project came out. I really like the colors. How do you say it's bad or something's wrong with it? I'm sorry, I'm not an artist and I don't have the critical eye. But what's your basis on judging your artwork? The basis of judging my artwork, like my own personal artwork, is whether or not I know I did my best when I did it. And for me, there's very few pieces that exist that I did my best. There's certain parts in, there's just certain things in them that I knew I wasn't ready to move on. I wasn't ready to stop correcting in some way, but I went on anyway for the purpose of time. And a lot of my work has that in it. And very few times do I get away with it. Sometimes I do, but most of the times I really don't. It's great looking at all your work. We appreciate it, you doing this while being exhausted. No problem. All right, so now I have some tape I got to deal with. I don't know how well this is going to go. Excuse me for the sound. This is a live tutorial project that I did here. I like the way this one came out. Yeah, this one came out okay. I like this one still. I could have probably worked on the fur a little bit longer, but I did enough that I'm still pleased with it after looking at it. Yeah, I think this one came out okay. I think there's like 2 or 3 live streams on YouTube of me doing this project, and I've had a few people tag me after they did this project. But yeah, this one's still good. I like that one. Yeah, whatever, I don't care. This was this was a little test with pastel pencils and doing a portrait. I did this one in the drawing journals last year, I think. And I like this portrait better than the actual tutorial portrait. I messed up the nose a little bit, and I could probably I messed up the nose and this eye a tiny bit, but I like that it's on gray paper. It just looks better on gray pastel matte than white pastel matte. And I think that's just about it. But my favorite thing about this is the highlights on the skin. Okay, I'm really running out of room here. This is getting ridiculous. I just have pastel paintings thrown all over my floor. What kind of paper is in between the pastel work? This is glassine paper. And do I use it with colored pencil work? No. I don't use anything with the colored pencil work. I don't take care of any of my colored pencil work. I just throw it in a drawer. This was a Patreon tutorial. This is a project that I still really like, and partially because I just like the colors. Really, there's nothing more to it. I just like the colors on this one. Yeah, the colors plus the border, I'm a fan of. This is one of my favorite pastel paintings, probably. I need to get more of that gray pastel matte. I think I'll prefer working on that gray pastel matte in the future. This here, I just did a time lapse of this one a couple years ago. I think it was a couple years ago. My sister took this picture. Cece, she's in the chat hanging out. She took this picture. I liked it. She sent it to me, and then I did a pastel painting of it. I added the little clouds though. Do I sell my paintings? I would sell my paintings, but nobody wants to buy them, so I guess the answer is no. Because nobody's bought any, so technically I don't sell them. This was a fun project. I did a live stream of this. This was using like I think 6. I want to say just 6, maybe 8 colors of the Unison pastels, and just like a mountainside landscape. But I like this one. This is an okay project, and I did this just using soft pastels, so no pencils. Okay, I'm gotta find a spot on the floor for this one. Let's see, this project here, I think I live streamed this one. I can't remember though, but I'm almost certain that this was the Waterfall project. So for those of you that may not have been around for a while, I had this continuous request to do Waterfall, and this was the Waterfall project. I don't remember anything else about it, but it's terrible. This is just a horrible, horrible pastel painting. I don't even know why I keep that one. I should just throw it away. Oh my goodness. Sorry again for the sound. Let's start with this one. This was a bit of an experiment. Oh, that actually, that's weird. Okay, so this one here, so the circle thing, this was the first time that I tried to make a circle. And if you're wondering how I made the circle, I used my masking film. I would lay down the masking film, and I use a lid from a pot. So just a pot lid, and then I'd trace around it, and then I'd cut out the circle, and then I'd just lay it down. But this one got smeared a little bit outside of the circle. And I don't know, this is just, to do the splatter, I used alcohol and pastel. So I just make some powder, I just scrape off some powder, put some alcohol in it, and then I just throw it on with a brush. And it, I don't know, it kind of created a cool texture. But this is ink. This here is ink, and it looks terrible. I don't know what's going on up here with the head or the hands. Just looks awful. Yeah, that's hideous. This here, this was also live streamed. But the live stream was just terrible. I don't know if it was my internet connection or what, but I live streamed this over on Sheldean's channel. Sheldine, she used to be an artist on YouTube and Patreon and stuff, and then she just quit. I don't know. Maybe something with her life or whatever. I don't know. But she just kind of quit. But she hosted a live stream, and I went over and showed her how to make clouds and pastels. And my camera on her stream was just a blurry mess. It looked awful. But these are the clouds from that live stream, and they're halfway decent clouds. They kind of look rough. Let's see. This is on UArt. This is on UArt 800. And I think my wife showed me this picture, and she wanted me to paint it or whatever, and so I did. I didn't do this on a live stream. I didn't do this on a video. I didn't record it or anything. I just did it for fun. And this is probably one of the best landscapes that I've done, because I really spent the correct amount of time on getting the colors, getting the blending, and just adding the detail. So I like this one. This one's pretty good. This project here, do I name my arts? No, not really. I never really go through the only projects that I'll name are the ones that I actually care about. And so considering none of them have names, you can just tell how many I care about. The projects that The projects that I do name are like the ones that I spend a lot of time planning and kind of coming up with. But the last time I named a piece of work was last year. There was only one, and that was the oil painting project that like 4 people liked. Yeah, this project here was for a tutorial, but not a tutorial on how to create this exact painting, but a tutorial on like some beginner techniques for pastels. And this is one of my more popular projects. Yeah, this one was pretty popular, and came out okay. It's colorful. I mean, aside from that, it doesn't really have much going for it. It's colorful, more colorful than a good portion of my work. All right, moving on. Yeah, I'll need to pack everything up again. Let me just remind you that we're still in the first layer, right? Like I have 4 more layers under this. No, 3 more. I have 3 more layers, so still got a while to go. This is a project. Why is it taped? Yeah, this is a project that I did tutorial on Patreon a couple years back ago. This is a capybara, and yeah, it's a capybara. This is a pretty basic project. There's really not a lot going on with this. Pretty simple project. This is from a student. Some of you might know her. So I did this project with a student, Christine from something Clover Art, White Clover, Shiny Clover, Fluffy Clover. Most of you know Christine, but she was, before she really got into her super fluffy, shiny white clover, something clover art page. She was one of my Patreon students, and she had this reference photo where it was like looking up at a tree and it had all these colors and stuff. And so we did this project together on a live stream. I sincerely hope that these streams bring you new patrons after seeing your work and meeting you. I would hope so as well, but it hasn't been the case for a while. By the way, this tree is done in ink. Everything was done in ink, and then pastels were put on top. So if you're ever wondering if you can lay down ink and then pastels, you can. All right, how many more do I have? Oh my goodness. Okay, I think I got 3 more layers here. Okay, so, oh, come on. This is, I think, like one of the first attempts at a pastel portrait. Really needs a lot of work on the skin. The skin is just basically just non-existent. A bit too timid on the skin. But came out okay. It's okay. She really should be prettier though. So that was the first pastel portrait attempt, And I did that for the drawing journal. Oh no. This is just random nonsense. Now this bunny here, I can't stand this one. This is a live stream too that I did on YouTube a while back. This is on UART 800. And the bunny is horrible. The background is worse than the bunny, and the bubble makes no sense whatsoever. The colors in the bubble make zero sense. The bunny is just atrocious. Honestly, there's nothing good about this project. It is just bad from top to bottom. All right, last two layers here. If I can get it untaped. Yeah, I accidentally messed up the back of that pastel painting there. Hopefully it's not one I care about. No, it's one of the worst. I think it's my first pastel painting, actually. If I can just get it untaped. Yeah, so this is my first pastel painting. When I got pastels for the first time, this was my first attempt. I mean, I guess if I just accept the fact that this is the first time, I just used my finger to blend. Is this... Wait a minute, am I misremembering? I am almost certain this is the first time I did pastels. Pretty sure it is. I'd have to go back on my YouTube channel to check, but I'm almost certain this is my first pastel painting. So I won't degrade it too much, since I was just learning the medium. Okay, what's this? What is this junk? Oh, this is just pure trash here. I really should just throw this away. Why is it in here? Why is this here? Oh, now I remember. Okay, yeah. Yeah, this is just trash. So this was a test with fixatives. So I get a lot of questions about fixatives, and they're all trash. Don't use fixatives on your pastel work. If you're using pastel mat or UART paper, you don't need fixative in the first place. All it does is make your pastel work look like garbage. So this is a brand of fixative. This is no fixative. This is another brand of fixative. And what should not be surprising is that these two horizontal bits look like they look like something's been sprayed on them. They just look awful. This one's even worse than this one. This one has less texture than this one. So in some ways this is sort of better, but this one doesn't mess with the actual colors as much. So one of the things with this fixative, I don't even remember, I think this is like Spectra Fix. So if you notice the pink is very light here in the center. I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but the pink is very soft. It's very soft and smooth, and the gradient is real nice. And then look what it did to the pink. It made it look all like textured and grindy, and all these lines and stuff. It just looks terrible. Now this one preserved the softness of the pink, but it does darken all the colors. And it also gives all this like speckledy texture. But this one just ruins it. This one just turns it into crap. Yeah, so that's all this is. Okay, last one on this layer. This is, okay, I'm not going to untape these. This one I did as a live stream. This one is done on the Canson watercolor paper. So it's on garbage paper, which is why it has all this really awful looking texture. But it looks pretty nice. I mean, it looks okay. If it was on good pastel paper, then it would look a lot better. And then this one here, this is on UArt paper. And actually, funny thing about this project, this is one of my first pastel projects that I've ever done. So the next episode, whenever I get to it, of Peaceful Pastels is actually going to be something like this. It's going to be sky, line of trees, grass, and a single tree. So I'm just going to cover that back up. I'm going to peel this excess trash off here. Yeah, I agree. I won't actually throw away any of the stuff, but yeah, I'm kind of close to doing it. All right, second layer. Okay, this, you guys should have recognized this hand. I did this one in colored pencil. This is the one I did in pastels as a skin tutorial. Okay, I'm really running out of room here. All right. You can already see which one's next, the baby raccoon. I don't know why it's taped down. Why would I do that? Yeah, so Baby Raccoon project, it's still good. Yeah. It still looks good as a pastel painting. So, no qualms about that one. It's still one of my best pastel paintings. I mean, I spent a lot of time for the polishing stage of it, so yeah, it's satisfying. It's still good looking. I gotta peel off this tape. Random pieces of tape on the back as well. There. So much tape. Okay, what's this one? Oh, this one should be recognizable. This is the fruit one. Carbothellos, Faber-Castell, Derwent, and Caran d'Ache. So which one? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me know in the chat which one you like the best. I am going to go with 4. 4 is my favorite. Then 1. Then the Derwent ones actually look better than the Faber-Castell ones. So 4, 1, 3, 2 is my rating. Okie dokes. Moving on. You can see another one. This one is from the Patreon tutorial. That one's from the review. Oh, so you guys like the Carbothello ones. This here, I don't think I think I shared this, but this was just a random project that I did for myself. So yeah, I just did this one for myself. I like the colors. Actually, these colors are pretty close to the same colors that you get with the starter pack for season 1 of Peaceful Pastels. Oh gosh, I'm so out of space here. This one I just went fancy with the border. Other than that, it's okay. This one for some reason it reminds me of a CD cover. I don't know why that is. Just reminds me of album cover. What is this? Yeah, so again, the fruit, this one is done with Carbothellos. After doing it a million times, I got better at it. So the Carbothellos look pretty good. So this here, this was a Patreon tutorial. I still like this one. Yeah, I think this one came out pretty good. Lots of texture, and lots of saliva too. There's a bunch of spit all over this one too. Usually my tutorials are just covered in little spit droplets from talking. Yeah, I like this one still. This one's good. This one here, so this was a tutorial that I did on YouTube. You know, I wish that the live stream tutorial of this, I'm surprised it didn't do better, because in my opinion this is one of my best pastel landscapes. This might actually be the best pastel landscape that I've ever done, because I just got the colors and the light right. Like, I would say if there was anything that I should have spent a little bit more time on, it's probably the water up here and over here. But aside from that, it's just done well. The trees are a little bit, the texture is a bit repetitive in the trees, but you don't really pick up on it too much. It still looks good. Yeah. This one, I'm disappointed that this one wasn't more popular, because I feel like it deserves it. But what do I know? Man, am I ever gonna reach the end of this? Hold on a second, I need music in my life. This takes all my energy. Alrighty. Can't compensate for your time, but thanks, really enjoy your work. Oh, thank you so much, Lisa, for the super chat. I don't remember the last time I got a super chat. So I appreciate that. Okay, Kay. Well, I'm glad you stuck around for as long as you did. You have a fantastic rest of your Thursday. Enjoy your Friday and weekend and all of that. And hopefully I'll see you soon. All right, what's this one? Oh gosh, I do not like this one at all. This is so bad. This is the worst pet portrait. No, this is like the second or third worst pet portrait that I've ever done. And I wish it didn't exist as a live stream tutorial. More like a tutorial on what not to do. But yeah, the live streams on YouTube, I don't want to look at it anymore. That's my least favorite. I just despise it. This is one. I think this one got a little popular. But I don't know. I liked this one. I thought this one came out really nice. I liked the sunspots that are hitting the reindeer. But I don't know. I like the flowers. I like the yellow. I like this one. But yeah, it's been a while since I saw it. Alright, I got all these random pieces of glassine paper taped down. I'm glad I have a bunch of extra glassine paper. I would be willing to sell all of these paintings together. I will sell anybody interested in buying all of these. After I pack them back into these, I'll just pack them up and I'll just mail them all to you. Just let me know. I don't want to throw them away, but I do want to get rid of them. Because I like one. I think I did this on a live stream. I don't know. I might have done this as a live tutorial, but this one's pretty bad. This one's pretty poorly done. I like the colors, but I actually don't like the color of the paper. I think the color of the paper is all wrong. And I should have just used pencils in the water. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about that one. Here's an elephant one. I did this one as a Patreon tutorial, I think. Yeah, so this is covered in tape. Yeah, this is a Patreon tutorial. I think somebody requested elephants, and so I did this one. I still like this one. It has a bit too much saliva on it. but I like the colors. I like the colors. And one of the things that I added here was I added these really nice bright orange flowers in here, and it just works perfectly. Yeah, I like this one a lot. Oh gosh. This one I couldn't care less about. So this one is the Safari landscape tutorial live stream that I did like 3 years ago. I think this has somewhere around like 600,000 or 700,000 views, and you know, I really wish I understood why, because I don't understand why. The live stream, like on camera, it looks so awful. This painting looks just so terrible on camera. And when I see it in the live stream, I'm like, why are people watching this? Like, why do people like it? Why do I keep getting comments on it? And I get so many positive comments on this tutorial, and it just looks so bad on camera. I mean, it doesn't look that much better in person, but it looks significantly better in person. This one, I mean, on camera, it looks like garbage. But in person, it looks so much better. And yeah, this is one of those projects that I do that it gets popular, and I'm like, why is this one getting popular? Why is this one getting popular, not like the wolf one? Remember the wolf one I showed you? It's somewhere. The wolf one was also a live stream, or that winter landscape one. How is it that the wolf one and the winter landscape one is not the ones getting super popular? It's something like this. I'll never understand. I'll never understand it. This is just practice. I think I did this one during the drawing journal a little bit. Her face is all jacked up. Yeah. I don't know whether she's supposed to be wearing braces or she just got kicked in the teeth, or she spent the last 10 years of her life eating Oreos, but her teeth and her mouth are all jacked up. Her eyes are pretty bad, lopsided. But considering her face is so tiny, I can't hold it against myself too much. But I like the red dress. That's about all I like about this one. But this was like a first-ish kind of attempt of a portrait. Which leads me into this one. This one's not much better. This one I did as a tutorial, as a mini portrait, mini pastel portrait. I don't know why I wanted to do that instead of just a full-scale portrait. I tell you what, her hair is fantastic. I did good on the hair. Her sweater is a hot mess. Her sweater's terrible. Her face isn't bad, considering how small it is. The face is pretty good. The hair is awesome. I love that. I love the hair. But the sweater is just absolute trash. But this is a Patreon tutorial from however long ago. Yeah, you could have something there, Andrea. Yeah, it could just be that that landscape is simple. People like it or whatever. I'm getting into some oldies. Getting into some old ones now. These ones when I, oh yeah, oh, what the heck is this? What is this? Ugh. What? What is this? I don't know. I don't know about this one. This one is just so ugly. I think I might have actually live streamed this one. Oh man. This one is just gross. My apologies for ever showing you that again. Ah, now I remember. Now I remember. This one's my wife's. We did this as a live stream together. I mean, they're both terrible. I don't know what I was thinking with the color choice. Colors are just so awful. I can't say nothing about my wives. You're not gonna get me in trouble. Here's another oldie but goodie. This one I did live stream, but I didn't have a reference photo. Yeah, no reference photo on this one. This one just picked out like some reds and yellows and stuff, and you guys told me to put like palm trees or whatever, a boat in the water, a lighthouse or whatnot. It's not awful. I don't know what's happening here. I think I was trying to make it look like waves crashing up. It does not look like waves crashing up. Those are the worst palm trees I've ever seen in my life. That is just an atrocious attempt at a sailboat. I don't know what that's supposed to be. That is just awful. That is the result of not having a reference photo. I'm not that good at sailboats, so. Oh, that one, dang it. That one, I don't care. That one fell face down on the floor, but I don't care. This one I still like. This one, this is on UArt paper. UArt 800, no, this is 600. UArt 600, so a little bit more abrasive. This one I actually used pan pastels in. Yeah. This one could be better. The waves coming up, they're a little rough. They're a tiny bit rough, but I like the colors in this one. Yeah. I do like the colors in this one. That's about it. This one would be better if I used pencils. Oh my gosh, my room is a mess right now. I still have 2 layers to go. I think there's less. As I get down to the bottom, there's going to be less and less paintings. You guys might remember this one. This is from the Intro to Pastel course. So this is project 4 or 5? No, 4. I think this is project 4 of the Intro to Pastel course. I thought somebody bought this. Maybe I'm wrong. I like that sky though. I like the sky. Yeah, I honestly, the sky is good. The colors are just perfect. I think I did the dogs with pencils. This one would be better if the dogs were a little bit more consistent with the color, because they're not very consistent. And then also the skyline doesn't make a lot of sense. It's a little bit rough on the skyline, but I like the clouds on this one. This is another one that my wife and I did together. So tell me which one my wife did, tell me which one I did. So 1, 2, did I do 1 or did I do 2? And obviously my wife would have done the opposite one. So which one is my wife's and which one is mine? Oh, you just did that one from the course? That's awesome, Liz. My wife and I, we live streamed doing this. So see if you guys can remember which one I did and which one my wife did. And I think this is the first time my wife ever, this is the first time my wife ever used pastels on this project here, I think. Or it was that really ugly one. It might have been that really ugly one that I threw over there. Either way, one or two, yeah. Like first or second attempt at pastels. Yeah, I did this one. I did the one with the water and the birds. I put birds in mine. I think the clouds and the grass probably give it away the most. My technique on the grass is just a little bit more, just a little bit better. One of the issues is that her blades of grass, they stay the same size even though they're supposed to get shorter as they get farther away. But aside from that, she did pretty good. This is project, what is this, project 3? I think this is project 3 from the Intro to Pastel course. I know project 1 and 2 and maybe 5. I think 1, 2, and 5 were sold, but this one didn't sell, which is kind of understandable. This one's not the greatest, not the best landscape. I think the problem with this one is that the trees just lack a little bit of treeness to them. They just kind of blobbish. These close-up trees, if they were done a little bit better, I think maybe. What they're lacking is depth. So they're lacking the contrast depth in the leaf area. So if I would have maybe laid down a bit of black, a little bit more black in there, and then added some of the brighter colors on top, they would have more depth. They don't quite look three-dimensional, and it gives it kind of a really two-dimensional look. But I still like the colors on this one. Man, those ones from the pastel course, I gotta say, they still look pretty good to me. I like the colors on that one a lot. Oh, hi there, Annabella. Okie dokie. So this is on UArt 600, and this is just a sunflower, whatever kind of flower it is, some kind of flower. Sorry, gotta fix my music. Would you come on? Whatever. Yeah. I might have live streamed this on one of the drawing journals or something. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it. I think it looks bad. Now here's a project. Here's a project that I'm a bit disappointed didn't get more attention. I thought everybody found slow lorises like to be super adorable. I find slow lorises to be one of the most adorable animals ever. Poor things are tortured to death because people want them as pets, and they're nocturnal. That's why their eyes are so big, but they're super cute. I did this as a tutorial on Patreon, but I released the time lapse. I'm pretty sure I did on YouTube, but yeah, it didn't really get as much attention as I thought it was going to. Because I mean, they're just so cute with their giant eyeballs. I still like that one. That one's still good. Alrighty. Only 2 more layers left. Gosh, all this tape and junk. All right. Oh, it looks like there's only 2 here. That's good. These ones are awful. These are awful. These are on the Canson Canson pastel paper, which is just horrible paper, so it has a bunch of awful texture. This is just a random dog. As you can see, it looks awful. It looks awful. It's so bad. This is just so bad. This is one of my first pastel paintings, and I did this one. This is like maybe 15 minutes is how quickly I did this one. It's about 15 minutes. This is the same paper, different color. Like maybe 10 minutes, maybe like 10 minutes. There was a lot of pressure when I was doing this one, because I was doing this one in front of a crowd of people, live, like they were physically standing in front of me. And it's just awful. It's just really, really bad. Okay. So that layer is done. We're almost done. Got one more layer left. I'm just trying to get rid of some of this tape. Oh yay. So there's only two pastel paintings here. So we're basically done. We're basically done. I should redo this one. So this one here, I'm not going to untape them. I'm just going to leave them there. So the first one, you guys might recognize this one because this one was a live stream. That was a pretty popular live stream. Real early on when I first started pastels, that one there. And then this one here, this one I still really, really like. If I cleaned up the girl standing there, it would look a lot better because it's a little weird, not quite drawn well, but the colors, I mean, I wonder if I still have the original reference photo for this because I should redo this. I mean, the colors on this one are just so pretty. My favorite colors, I think. But yeah, so that's the last two. That's it. I'm done. 2.5 hours looking through all these. Let me just show you how ridiculous my floor is right now. So just piles and piles of them here. So I have quite the mess. I have quite the mess to clean up. Yeah, quite the mess to clean up. But anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed looking through my artwork. I'm exhausted. I have to clean all this stuff up, and then I have to clean my flat, and I have to go grocery shopping. So I have a whole bunch of stuff that I need to do now because my wife is done working, and yeah. So I hope that you guys enjoyed seeing all of my artwork that I've made in the past like 4-ish years, with the exception of a few sketchbooks that are a bit older. But yeah, the offer still stands. If somebody wants to buy every single one of these pastel paintings, it's not that I don't sell my artwork, it's that nobody buys it. When I offered it for sale. So I offered a lot of this stuff for sale like last year and previous years. But when I don't get offers, then I just stop wasting the time offering them. But genuinely, if somebody gives me the right offer for all of these pastel paintings, I'll just send it to you. I might say no, depending on what your offer is, but I'm being serious. I'll give them all. I'll not give them all away, but I'll sell them all just as one big group. Yeah. But anyways, I'm exhausted. This took a lot longer than I expected. Really, it did. And now I gotta go clean it all up now, since it's all over my floor. But I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Appreciate you coming by and hanging out. And yeah, I think that's it. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Enjoy your Friday, your weekend, all of that. And I'll be back on Tuesday. Like I said, I'm gonna be doing another portrait, another pastel portrait. And I'm thinking I'm gonna do the same I'm going to do the same project in colored pencil, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I might do something else. But anyways, that's going to be it. So stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Peace.